So welcome to your practice. I hope you can hear me okay. And let's start off with sitting. So find a comfortable way of sitting, whichever way you want to cross your legs. If sitting cross-legged doesn't work for you, then maybe kneeling, virasana, vajrasana, with your feet under you or your feet out to the side, whatever works. Just find that space. And if you are sitting in cross-legged, easy cross-legged pose, Sukhasana, just noticing where your sit bones are. So we want them to be feeling like they're in balance. So you're in balance. And quite often, especially if you've been busy and doing stuff and you're quite dominant on one side or the other, it can often be that you sit and you think you're level, but then when you move around, just a little bit over to the side, noticing that weight in your shifting in your sit bones, and then coming to a point where you feel like you're bang in the middle, and then the same moving backwards and forwards. Just want to feel like you're not leaning forwards and you're not leaning backwards, that the weight from your head is dropping down, completely supported by your neck, by your spine, but it's just dropping right down through the center. So I just invite you to gently close your eyes and feel that you're lifting up from the crown of your head. So the crown of your head, lifting, taking that lift through into the neck, into the top of your spine, the mid-spine, your lumbar region, right down into the bottom. And if you feel like doing that brings you some tension in your legs, see if you can find a little bit of release there, let go of any tightness in your legs, any muscles holding on. It's a constant adjustment between trying to lift and be tall and yet also relax the shoulders. Allow your shoulders to just drop. Relax your jaw and relax your belly. When you breathe in, allow your belly to just gently move as it needs to, trying not to hold on, trying not to squeeze any of the muscles. And when you inhale, feeling that movement all the way through your chest. So feel it in your rib cage as it expands. Feel that in your intercostal muscles. Feel it in your shoulder blades, up under your collarbones. And feel that lengthening through the sides of your body. So you feel like you're longer in the sides of your body when you breathe in, and then allowing it to settle while still keeping that length in the spine. So much to think about. So gently inhaling through your nostrils and out. And with each breath, scanning all the way around your body. So are your hands relaxed? Are your arms relaxed? You can hold your hands gently in your lap or on your knees, whatever's more comfortable for you. And if at any point, we won't be here for very long, but if at any point you start feeling uncomfortable or you think, you're really distracted by sensations in your body which are not comfortable, then just move, change your position, sit with your legs stretched out in Dandasan, or whatever works for you. You can even move to a chair if you're really uncomfortable. Sometimes if you've been doing something and your back's out, sitting on the floor like this is actually really challenging. So do what works for you. So inhaling through your nostrils, exhaling through your mouth, trying to lengthen each breath. So as you breathe in, count and try to count at a sort of 1 second pace interval. Don't get too worried about it. Just keep the counting the same. So counting in, and then at the same pace, counting out. And just notice, are you breathing in and out with the same count? Are they different? How are they different? Do you still have that length in the spine? Are you still able to lift the crown of your head up? Maybe also bring up your chin. So we make space in the throat, in the front of the body. You might want to draw your shoulder blades gently towards each other, lifting your heart center upwards so that you make more space for each breath. And I invite you to slow your breath down. So starting to control the breath. And as you count in and out, see if you can count your out breath for longer than your in breath. So if you were breathing in for 4, say 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out for 6. So breathing in for 4 and out for 6. You might have to hurry that breath up as you breathe in and slow it down as you breathe out. One of the most powerful things you can do to bring yourself to a state of rest and digest, to calm the mind, body, spirit, the whole, every little bit of you, and for lowering your blood pressure, helping with your digestion, just easing everything, is to control the breath, to take your attention to the breath. And if you find that your mind starts to wander, just notice, observe where it's going. Just gently and kindly, but try to keep some distance. Try to not become engaged with whatever that thought is, and see if you can put it aside. See if you can say to yourself, okay, that's popped in now. I understand why. All right, you thought, go and sit over there outside the door, and I will deal with that after I finish my practice for myself. It takes a lot of practice to observe thoughts without becoming engaged with them. Try and bring yourself back to your breath. That helps. Back to scanning around your body. Trying to keep all of your attention on yourself. You've made it here. You've made that time for yourself. You've actually put yourself in a position where you can give yourself this time. So be selfish. Be self-centered, and try and bring yourself completely into this little space and time. It will pass quickly. Are you taking that breath right down into your belly with each breath, allowing the muscles of your stomach and your sides to relax? And with each out breath, using those muscles to gently pull your belly in towards your spine. Empty out every single last bit of breath. Imagine that you've just been breathing all day without conscious control of your breath. And so you need to fill up every single little bit and empty every single bit of old air out. So maybe now is a good time to lengthen each breath. So your in breath is a little longer and your out breath is a little longer too. So let's just take 2 more breaths here and then we'll start to move. Filling up as much as you can. And emptying as much as you can. 1 more breath. That's fantastic. It's difficult. Well done. And as you take this last breath, and then you allow your breath to just come to its own natural rhythm, think about your intention for your practice today. You don't need to have one, but if there's something that comes to mind, something that you would like more of in your life, whether that's peace, joy, calm, energy, love, whatever it is, patience, whatever you felt that was popped into your head, go with that. You can change it as you go along. And so you have another tool to bring yourself back to focusing on yourself. You have your scanning around your body. You have your breath, counting in and out, or just being observant of the breath, and you have your sankalpa. So let's hope that those three are enough to keep away all those other little things that we need to do later on. So just gently opening your eyes, take your chin to your chest. Let's stretch out the back of the neck. So it looks like we're not doing very much here, but you can use the weight of your head to start stretching out the top of the spine, those long muscles either side of the spine, especially if you've been doing lots of sitting, driving, even walking. This is a great stretch. So try and keep your torso upright and then dip your chin in. And now start to use the muscles in your neck to really tip the chin right into your chest. And how low can you feel that stretch down your back? Is it just in your neck, or can you feel it in the top of your back? I can feel that right down into my mid back. And that's about it. But maybe you can feel it all the way down into your lower back. And then let's gently bring the chin up, arc the head, and let's take the chin up towards the ceiling. So let your head drop back, still keeping long in the spine and tall. And send your chin up to the ceiling. So as if you are trying to touch the ceiling with your chin, jut it out as far as you can, stretching out the neck and the throat, helping your communication center, helping your all those muscles that get a bit jammed up when you have any stress in your life or when you're focusing and concentrating. I can't talk and do this at the same time. So stretch your chin up. When you've had enough, allow it to come back and then stretch it up again. If you're just sending your bottom row of teeth up towards the ceiling. And release. Bring your head back to center. Let's take the right ear to the right shoulder. So dropping that without moving your torso. So come back to center. Notice where you are. And then only your head moves. Quite tempting to try and bring your shoulder up to your ear. The shoulder stays still. It's just the ear, well, the head is moving. The ear is a bit connected to your head. So ear to shoulder. And then back to center. We'll do that again. So this time just a short one, moving over. Left ear to left shoulder. Still keeping that length in the spine. Maybe tucking your belly gently in towards your spine now. Come back to center. Okay, so this time we're going to go over to the right. So head coming over to the right. And stretch your left arm out. So we've got right ear coming towards the right shoulder. And stretch. Push the palm of your hand in the direction of the floor. See if that increases the stretch, changes the stretch. Okay, if you move your hand forward, can you feel the difference in your neck? All those muscles, giving them a little bit of a stretch. Move your hand behind. And then gently release, come back to center. And let's do the same on the other side. So left ear to left shoulder, stretching out your right arm, pushing the palm, the heel of your palm away from you, bringing the hand forward and bringing it behind. Just skimming across the surface of the floor. And come back to center with your arm, back to center with your head. Well done. Let's inhale the arms upwards. So on an inhale, reaching up, reach up as high as you can. Send your shoulders up, bring your shoulders and your arms up towards your ears. Maybe they can press into the sides of your head, long in the side of your body, and exhale. Inhale up again. Oh, and then exhale, keep your hands up and let's go over to the side. So we're just sending the fingertips over to the right, arms, head, and torso follow, and then inhaling up to center and over to the left on an exhale. Once more, inhale to center, exhale over to the right, inhale to center, last time, over to the left, and back to center, and then exhale the arms down. Well done. So let's just warm up the wrists. Send your wrists forward, fingertips. Push your wrists forward. Push. They're allowing your shoulder blades to come away from each other, slightly rounding in the top part of your back, pulling your belly in towards your spine, sending your wrists even closer towards me. Reach, reach, reach. And then let your shoulders come back into their sockets because they've been moving out a little bit. Bring your fingertips to face upwards and push away again. Pushing away with the heels of your hand and bringing your fingertips back towards your face. Can you feel that in your forearms? Can you feel it in your upper arms? And release. Give them a bit of a shake, maybe twist them around, just warming up the wrists. We're going to be doing some downward facing dog, some other things with our wrists, so let's warm them up. So round and round, change the direction. And then we're going to bring that into the shoulders as well. So let's take the arms around. So do that from your shoulders. Your arms are just along for the ride. Start that movement in your shoulder blades. So you're bringing your shoulder blades towards each other as your arms come back. And then as your arms come up and round, taking your shoulder blades away from each other. So a little bit of rounding in the back. Still waking up the spine. So rounding in the back, sending the heart center forward, rounding in the back as the arms come forward. And let's reverse that now. So take your hands forward and up, go at your own pace. As long as you just keep moving and breathing and smiling, it's all good. You'll feel, if it feels like you're doing nothing, then just focus on where you can bring in a little bit more movement. There we go, lovely. Let's just move the shoulders around now. Up, back, down, forward, and then reverse. Big movement with your shoulders. I've got a clunk, clunk, clunk going on in mine. Oh dear, what's happening there? Lovely. So we're all warmed up in the top. Let's come up to standing. So let's go via a squat. So feet flat to the floor or up on toes, whatever works for you. Come into a squat. If you need to have your hands for some balance, go ahead. If you want to hold on to a piece of furniture, go ahead. And if you're happy to try and come into a bit more of a balanced posture, go ahead and do that as well. So either up on toes or flat-footed, whatever works. Bring your knees out to the side. Bring your body between your legs. So it's letting yourself sit down as low as possible to the ground. So bum towards the ground, body between the thighs. Now I'm wishing I hadn't eaten quite so much lunch. And bring your hands forward in front. So we're opening up across the groin and the hips here, nice gentle stretch. You can push a little bit harder here if you want. Bring your hands together and push your elbows out against your knees. And that will give you a little bit more of a stretch if you need it. You might not, you might feel like you're stretching enough as it is. And if you're up on toes, it might be that you need your hands for support. So then you can still keep your hands on the floor and use your elbows to just push, intensify the stretch a little. And let's bring a little bit of movement in. So let's move from side to side. So we're just basically moving the sit bones over to the left, over to the right, moving the left knee down. Now when you move to the left, moving the right knee down. So just getting a little bit of movement in the hip sockets, and then come to center. So we're going to come up to sitting in a chair. So let's move up into Utkatasana or chair pose. You can come up to standing and then come down into chair pose. But if you want to try and work your thighs a little bit and legs, then you can reach up on an inhale and come into chair pose. So in chair pose, we're trying to get a line from the fingertips to the hips. And we're sitting back in a chair. You can't sit too far back because you will probably end up sitting on the floor, which is not what we're looking for right now. But push in to the whole of the soles of your feet. Even the toes. If you're putting all your weight into your heels, try and bring a little weight into your toes. Knees should not be obscuring your toes from here. You should still be able to see them. Pull your belly in towards your spine. Try to keep your back in line so that you're not pushing your belly forward. It might be that you need to push your lower back out a little and then come up to standing. Oh, that's talking and moving at the same time. Okay, that was a lovely chair pose. Let's come into a tree. Bring yourself so that your left foot is flat to the mat and you're dropping all of your weight down evenly into the whole of your foot. So think of your foot as having a front, that's the toes, and then the pads of your feet, and then the heel and the sides as well. So left and right. Obviously you've got a bit of an arch, so you won't feel anything there. But when you have your feet on the floor, try and feel as though you're dropping the weight down through the middle of your foot. So not too much into toes or heel. We're lifting the kneecap up towards the hip because we try to not lock the leg. We want a little bit of a bend in the knee. That helps to remind us to do that. And then hips are in line. So if you feel that you are dipping down or tilting the right hip up, just put your hands on your hips. See if you're level and try and keep a little level there. So bring the right foot so that you press your heel into the spleen points, into the calf or the side of your calf on your left foot. And at the same time, you're trying to open up the right hip here. So knee coming out and to the side. Doesn't look like much perhaps, but you'll probably feel it quite intensely in that hip, either in the hip joint here, or you might feel it down in the glutes as well. And then what's happening with the torso? Nice and long, length, but shoulder blades coming towards each other behind you, and heart center lifting up and out. Chin lifted, and breathe. Okay, so your options are to stay here or to slide the sole of your right foot gently up so that your heel is just below your left knee. And check to make sure that you're not locking that standing leg. We want to really make those thighs work. We want to make the calves work. So we need to have a little bit of a bend in the knee. Not so much so that anybody would necessarily notice if they were looking at you, but you will notice when you take your attention to your knee. And you can actually bring it into a lock. So straighten the leg, push the kneecap back, and then release. Notice a difference. Hopefully you do notice some difference. Maybe not. So then we're going to slide up. So either stay here or stay in the first variation, or bring your heel up into the top of your thigh, right into the groin. And this is a really good time to have that prompt of making the standing leg really like wood, like a tree trunk. So squeeze all the muscles in your thigh, front and back. Pull your belly button in towards your spine. What's happening with your shoulder blades? Can you draw them towards each other again at the same time, relaxing your shoulders, relaxing your jaw? And are you tilting your bottom out? Gently bring it back under, tailbone tucking just very gently in, just protecting the lower back. So lengthening through the lower back. Well done. And now let's take that leg away and down. Brilliant. Let's come over to the other side. So same thing. We want to give this foot the same level of attention as the left foot. So just pushing your toes into the mat, pushing the outside edge into the mat, letting your weight drop into your heel, and then bringing your weight into the inner edge of your foot, just moving around with that pressure until you find that you can drop it right down through the middle part of your foot. Hips, just have a little check. Are they level? We're going to keep them level. So hands on hips is a great place to be for that. And then lifting the kneecap up, starting to squeeze the muscles in the leg. So let's take the left foot now, pushing into that spleen point. A really good thing to be doing right now is anything that we can do to help the spleen activate, stimulate. So many coughs and colds and luggies going around. I've got a child I've had to pick up from school upstairs full of cough and cold. So yeah, lots of measures to protect ourselves from what's coming. This 2 years of not having coughs and colds, I think they're all appearing at once now. So moving that knee outwards, you'll notice if you're just standing here or if you're working. If you start working, you'll feel a little bit of a pinch in the back here somewhere, different for everybody depending on what's happening with your hips, what's happening with the muscles. Pulling your belly gently in, making sure that your back is long. So tailbone is long. And then let's slide that foot up, starting to think about really making that standing leg absolutely strong and solid. Well done. And sometimes you're a bit wobbly. Let's just have wobbly days. Often if you haven't had a great sleep, or if you've got a lot on your mind and you've been using a lot of mental energy. And in that case, just find something to hold on to. Just gently rest your fingertips on a chair or a table or against the wall. We want to try and work the hips and the legs here. So if your balance is off, doesn't matter. Find a prop. And taking deep, nice, slow breaths. And then let's move. So taking the heel up right into the groin. Sometimes you need to grab hold of that ankle, help yourself get positioned. Squeeze the muscles in your thigh. There we go. Lovely. Well done. Good time to see what's happening with the heart center. Lifting up. Making space. That's it, lovely. And if this is something that you often practice or comes very easily, the way to challenge yourself is to gently close your eyes and try and maintain that balance. And if you're having a really wobbly day, Find something that isn't moving to focus on and gently stare at it with a soft, unfocused gaze. And the other balance technique, trick, I suppose, is to put the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth and press. Well done. So let's take an inhale here and exhale to bring your leg down. Arrange yourself long ways on your mat so that you've got space. Take your feet a little away from each other and then let's just tilt the hips backwards. So flat back, neck is long, just a halfway bend. Just halfway, noticing what's happening in the backs of the legs. So head, neck, spine, all level. And then clasp your arms around each other so you're holding opposite elbow with each hand. Allow your head to just fold forward as your back folds forward. So easy forward bend. Uttanasana. And take a breath here. So here we start to come into a little bit of inversion, which allows the blood flow to change. And we bring a little bit more to the brain, to the face, to the neck and head. Relax your neck here, relax your jaw. Notice what's happening. If you find that your back is not comfortable, take a little bit more of a bend in the knee so that you can bring your torso to rest on your thighs. Sometimes that helps. We just want to try and keep that change of direction, change of gravity for the head here. And then take your hands to the mat and let's walk forward into downward facing dog. So stepping forward with your hands or stepping back with your feet, whatever works better for you. Maybe you want to do both at the same time. Find your alignment. So your feet have about a foot between them. So they are level with your hips, or maybe just a little wider than your hips. Same with your hands. And we want to be lifting away from the wrists. So sending your sit bones away from you and tilting up towards the ceiling. So we keep the back straight here. There's not got any bend in the back. Have a straight line from wrists to hips. Gently pulling the belly in, lengthening through the sides of your body, making the side of your body long on the right side, right from your armpit to your hip, and on the left. And let's paddle the knees here. So take your left heel off, push your left toes into the mat, and let your thigh come towards your body, and then come up onto your right toes as you send your left heel back. So we're just paddling the legs here. Keep changing, keep paddling, bringing your thigh into your chest on each side, pushing, stretching out the Achilles, pushing into the toes, and then come up to toes on both feet. Really tilt your sit bones up towards the ceiling, and at the same time, keep some space between your head and your arms. So shoulders are broad, nice broad shoulders. And then let's take the knees down to the mat. Release your feet so the tops of your feet come onto the mat. And then send your hips back to your heels into Balasana, child pose. This is a pose of rest, but it's a very powerful pose. Very good for relaxation, for headaches, for any feelings of stress or discomfort in your mind or your digestive system. Trying to take your hips to your heels. Trying to lengthen through the sides of the body, and breathing here, you can't really breathe very deeply. So we just take shallow breaths, breathing into the sides of the body. If your arms are tired when you're in Balasana, you're welcome to bring them to the side so they rest, palm facing upwards, either side of your legs. Allow your forehead to be supported so that your neck can rest. And notice what's going on in your back. Sometimes if you've been doing a lot of standing, a lot of movement, or moving in a way that's not familiar, your back might start feeling a bit odd. And this is a really nice opportunity to let it just settle. Nice, deep, slow breaths here. Let's come forward with the hands. So take your hands either side of your face. Gently push into the palms of your hands to bring yourself up. Then walk your hands forward. Come into a tabletop position. The wrists under your shoulders, knees under your hips. Keep your shoulders broad. Relax your back, neck, nice and long. Just notice your alignment here. Sometimes we can be in tabletop position and we're moving forward over the wrists, or we're pushing the bottom back. So try and come into a neutral tabletop so that you are putting an equal amount of weight into each limb. And your back is just completely relaxed. A little bit of engagement in the muscles of your torso, so that will feel like pulling your belly button towards your spine, just very gently. We're going to come into a Chakravakasana, so a cat-cow combination. So we will start with just moving and then we'll incorporate the breath. So let's take the shoulder blades and the mid-back up towards the ceiling, like an angry cat that somebody's just chucked some water on. And at the same time, relax your head, bring your forehead towards your thighs, and pull your hips in towards your elbows. So we're really lengthening the whole of the back of the spine here, making it as long as possible in that curve, and then switch. So we're taking the belly button down towards the mat, tilting your hips up and bringing your head up. Notice what's happening in your shoulders. Keep your shoulders broad. I've got the last of that evening sun right in my eyes. It's absolutely lovely. So taking the back of the head towards your hips, as if you're trying to put your head on your bum. And then let's change that curl. So we're curling into a mountain. So the back coming up, head coming down. All right, this time as we curl into our cow, so belly to the mat, let's breathe in. So breathing in to take the belly down, come all the way with that breath. And then when you need to breathe in, out, breathing out to come into cat. One breath, one movement. So move at your own pace. And you're all on mute, so be as noisy as you like with your breath. The noisier the better. So breathing in through your nostrils, make that a really strong breath, and then as you breathe out through your mouth. And be noisy. Go as fast or as slow as you want. Let's do 2 more. Make them very strong and intense. We're moving all that spinal fluid around, making lots and lots and lots of little movements in all those muscles, making space in the body. moving stuff around so that our body can detoxify what it needs to, that it can get what it wants, where it wants it to be, and then come back into a nice neutral spine. And we're going to tuck the toes under, send the hips up, come back into downward facing dog. Sending your hips up, head down. So we warmed up for this little bit of inversion earlier. Can you push your heels down? Can you lift your toes up? Can you take all of your toes off the mat? And release. Let them go. Let them just be completely relaxed. And then we're going to walk the hands and the feet towards each other, coming into an easy forward bend. Dandasan again. And then we're going to walk out again, back into downward facing dog. And this time, hip bones up towards the ceiling. Come into your most extreme comfortable version. And by that, I mean, don't go to a point where you feel pain or discomfort. And then look to your hands and bring yourself into a plank. So toes are tucked under, pressing into the mat, lifting up out of those wrists. So sending the middle of your back up towards the ceiling. Head, back, hips, legs in line. And we're going to come into a hanging cobra. Hanging cobra, we bring the body between the hands. Let the hips come towards the mat, but we keep them off the mat. Tops of the feet can come onto the mat, and then you're in upward facing dog. If you want to keep the toes pressed under, that's a hanging cobra. That's the only difference, really. There are small, subtle differences in the movement of the body, but they're very minor. Make sure that you're pushing down with your fingers as well, not just into the heels of the hands. I cannot speak any longer. Squeeze your glutes here, and then bring your body down to the mat. It's not really very far to go. Release the tops of your feet. So now you're in traditional cobra. Let's lower down. Slowly, slowly, slowly bring your belly down to the mat. And let's come into crocodile, makara. Makara is one forearm on the mat, the other forearm stacked on top. And there you have a lovely pillow for your forehead. So bring your forehead to rest. Move however you need to so that your arms can be at rest as well. And breathe. Well done. Allow your body to just sink into the mat, to completely relax. We alternate between movement and activating the muscles and then allowing them to rest. Both are equally useful, especially if you alternate between the two. And we're going to tuck the toes under, last little bit of movement before we come into our Shavasana. Bring your hands either side of your chest. So put your fingers wide, press down into the whole of the flat of your hand. Elbows come behind you. And we're going to just push up a little, just a bit. So we're not really using the hands here much. We're more using the glutes, squeezing the muscles in your thighs, using the muscles in your back to contract and lift the front of your body off the mat. So a lot of those muscles we don't tend to use very much. We're squeezing those muscles. And then you can bring in pushing with the hands as well if you wish. And when you get to the point where you've had enough of this bend, bring your hips up. Bring yourself back into Balasana. Forehead to the mat. Hips to heels. Breathing into the side of your body. the right and the left. And then slowly just coming up to sitting. Either walk your hands up towards your knees or use your back to just drag your hands. Whatever feels right for you for today. So a lot about yoga is learning how to be kind to yourself, speak nicely, and accept what is and work with what is rather than castigating yourself for what isn't. So come round, bringing your feet out in front of you. Dandasan or staff pose. Staff pose is one of those postures that looks like nothing, but it's a foundational pose for a lot of other postures in yoga, and it is a very powerful posture. So we want as much of the bottom of or the back of your leg to touch the mat as possible. So we're engaging the knees, engaging the thighs, engaging the calves, gently pressing. So let's relax the right leg, completely relax the right leg, do whatever it wants. And let's push the left leg into the mat. Can you feel that? Can you feel that contact between the calf? Probably not the back of your knee, but maybe some of the back of your knee is touching as well. And your thigh and your heel as well. And then relax. And let's do the same with the right. Pressing that leg into the mat. And you'll be using muscles in your back, in your torso, in your hips, and release. So now let's send the heels away. Lift your left leg, bring your toes in towards your face, and push your heel away, and then let it come down to the mat. Same with the right. Let's lengthen that right leg, and then lay it down on the mat. And let's sit up nice and tall. Let's take the shoulder blades towards each other. Heart center open. And by heart center, I mean your sternum. So that's right in the middle of your rib cage where they join. You can feel that little bone there. Very important. We'll lift and we make space across the front of the chest. So shoulder blades, collarbones, shoulder blades in the back, obviously they're moving towards each other. Collarbones allowed to move away. So we have lots of room to breathe. So we're breathing down into the belly. We're breathing into the upper part of the belly, the lower part of your ribs, and then all the way up into the top, right up into your throat and neck. So really fill up with each breath and exhale fully when you exhale. Can you relax your shoulders as well? And then we're going to inhale the arms up. If you have back issues here, you have to be super careful and gentle. Inhaling the arms up. Let's fold forward. Don't be too anxious to get your hands down. Do all of the moving in your thighs and your torso. And then when you're ready, allow your arms to just come and relax anywhere on your legs or feet, wherever they get to. So I want to feel as if you're pushing your tummy forward here. This is going to protect your lower back and your mid back. And then on an inhale, come away. On an exhale, fold forward. So every breath, just lengthening through the spine on an inhale, and then folding forward a little bit on the exhale. So inhaling to lengthen, exhaling to fold. Well done. And then come back up. Just allow your hands to be brought up rather than having to bring them up. And bring yourself so that you've got enough space on your mat. So when you lie down, you're fully on your mat. Let's come into Navasan. Always good to work the core a little here. So holding on, find your balance spot. Find that place where you feel comfortable. Keep your shoulders back, sending your heart center forward. So back is long and straight. There's no curling in the back. And you can straighten your legs or you can keep them bent. When you're ready, take your hands off. And you are in the boat pose. There we go. So try and lift your heart center so that you have a nice long space between your hips and your shoulders and the front of your body. And breathe. And then let's keep the left leg where it is and send the right foot away, almost to the floor, but not quite. Hover, 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 hover. Don't forget to breathe, and then bring that leg back up. And let's send the left leg out. Don't forget to breathe. Right foot goes down. This is the last round, I promise. Maybe. No, this is the last round. And then come back up. Bring your knees into your chest. Keep your heels off the mat if you can. Wrap your arms around and just bring your forehead to your knees. A balanced self-hug. And then we're going to come down to the mat. So release, take your feet down. And any way that's comfortable for you, that works for you, come down to lying on your back, on the mat. And one thing we haven't done yet today is a twist. So we're going to take the hands out to the sides, arms out to the sides in a T. Palms of the hands flat to the floor, knees into the chest, and then take the knees gently over to the right side, rolling over to the right. Come to wherever works. Maybe your knees are on the floor, or your right knee, not your left. Left knee will be on your right knee. Or maybe they're floating a little bit. Find what works for you in this lying down twist, and then bring your head over to the opposite side. So gentle twist, and you can make this twist as intense or as gentle as suits your body today, right now. Yoga is all about practice, not pushing. It's better to gently practice regularly and allow your body to come slowly into moving more, being stronger, stretching deeper, then pushing, and then putting yourself back. So gently bringing the head back to center now, bringing your knees into your chest. And it really is so much about patience and perseverance. When you're ready, let's take the knees over to the left now. And if this is something that comes very easily to you, you can extend by straightening the legs. Don't forget to turn your head over to the right here, taking that twist all the way from your atlas axis and the back of your skull, where your head meets your spine, right down to your coccyx. Not a lot of movement down there because you've got your sacrum where your bones are fused. But I like to think even they get a little bit of a twist, a little bit of movement. And don't forget that every time you move parts of your body, you're bringing more nutrition, bringing more oxygen, you're bringing a better flow of materials around that area. So not just flexibility, also feeding and nourishing. Bring your head back to center now and bring your knees back to center. Okay, it's time for another hug. Wrap your arms around. Give yourself a hug. If you feel like rocking from side to side, a little bit of a massage in your lower back and your mid back. And if you feel like curling into a ball, then bring your forehead up towards your knees. Do what you feel like doing. I'm going to do one more little movement before we come into Shavasana. So take your feet flat to the floor. We're going to come into a bridge. Hands, fingertips towards your heels. palms of your hands pressing down into the mat. The whole of your arm must really help support you here. So push your arms down into the mat. So maybe push your elbows down, push your palms down, push the soles of your feet into the mat, and then gently bring your hips off. You don't have to arch your back here. You can make this all about the glutes and the thighs. If you wish to, you can also bring it up into your spine. But squeeze your glutes as tight as you can. At the same time, feel as if you are squeezing your thighs towards each other. Your feet are about hip width apart. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And at the same time, start pressing the soles of your feet into the mat. So we're squeezing the thighs towards each other, squeezing the glutes, lifting the pelvic floor. Really easy posture to lift the pelvic floor here and feel like you're actually doing something. Squeeze as many muscles as you can find in your pelvis, in your glutes, in your thighs, in your calves. Somebody was to come and poke your leg now, they wouldn't be able to indent at all because it would be so solid, rock solid legs, rock solid glutes, pulling, lifting, squeezing that pelvic floor area, and then let's rest. Starting to cramp up in my thighs, so bringing your back gently down, bring your knees into your chest, maybe straighten the legs if you need to, bring your toes towards your face, push your heels away. One last hug, squeeze. Big exhale. And then come into Shavasana. So Shavasana, final resting pose. Most important posture that we can do. And make space. Take up lots of room. Take your arms away from your body. Lengthen, so send your left hand away. And then allow your arm to rest. And the right. And allow your arm to rest. Spread out your fingers. Palms are open up towards the air, up towards the sky. Let your feet flop wherever it is they want to flop. Make yourself comfortable. So if you need to wiggle your shoulders, if you need to wiggle your hips, if you need to rock them from side to side to allow them to just be completely at rest, completely open, close your eyes, make your neck long, relax your jaw, relax your face. Now think about your sankalpa as you lie there, completely at rest. Close your eyes. You've made lots of space in the body. You've stretched, you've moved. This is the time to allow that energy to flow wherever it needs to flow. So with every breath in, feel as though you are sucking up all of the energy from the earth, from every point of contact your body has with your mat, and below it with the ground, below it with the earth, right down into the center of the earth. With every breath that you breathe in, feel that you're bringing that energy up, that ancient energy into your body. It's going where it needs to go to do what it needs to do. It's a healing energy. Any little aches and pains, any little areas that you're concerned about, or you just trust that it goes where it needs to go. And with every breath out, release a little more. Let go. What are you carrying around that you no longer need to carry? What are you carrying around that you've been carrying for a long time? What are you carrying around that's making you feel weighed down or tired? Maybe now is the time to release and let go. Sometimes we can't let go of the whole thing. It feels too frightening. It feels too familiar that we've carried it for too long. Can you find some small part of it that you can let go of? Sometimes the part to let go first is a little fear, is a little of comfort, because we've become accustomed to carrying this load, even though we don't want it, we don't need it, we don't like it. We're used to it. And so sometimes the first thing to let go of is the fear of the unknown, the fear of what would happen if we didn't have that thing to carry around with us. So let go of a little fear. Bring to mind your sankalpa, what you want more of in your life. And think about, if you want more of something, what do you need to let go of to make space for that? So with every breath in, you're taking energy from wherever the air touches your body, from the air that comes into your body, through your nostrils, feeling it go down to the back of your throat, into your chest, into your belly, into the sides of your body, into the back of your body, right up under your shoulder blades, under your collarbones. Every little bit of breath that comes in is bringing energy in with it. And what it needs to do is completely fill every little part of you. That positive energy, that light, that warmth. And as you breathe out, releasing, letting go, making space. As you breathe in, filling up with whatever it is you need, a little more joy, a little more peace, a little more calm. Relaxing your body all the way from your feet, from your toes, ankles, calves, knees, thighs, pelvis. Relaxing your body from your fingertips, your palms, your wrists, your forearms, your elbows, your upper arms, your shoulders. Relaxing your belly, relaxing your chest, relaxing your throat and neck, relaxing the whole of your face, relaxing your scalp, allowing yourself to feel heavy and soft, completely relaxed. And take a deep breath in. And as you release, when you're ready to breathe out, keeping your eyes closed, just gently coming to lie on your right side. Just curling up comfortably, allowing yourself to feel your heart beating, to notice what's happening for you, within you. And again, encouraging that kind, gentle, loving voice. Feeling acceptance for what is, feeling comfort, feeling contentment, feeling peace. And when you're ready, keeping your eyes closed, gently coming up to sitting any way that's comfortable for you. Feeling that expansiveness in your body, in your chest. In each breath, there's space, there's room to breathe. Bringing your hands to heart center. Just gently dropping your head, chin towards chest. Noticing again that stretch that we started out with along the back of the neck into the top of the back, mid-back. There's long muscles either side of your spine. And as you relax into this posture, on your next out breath, gently open your eyes. And your soft gaze is just on your fingertips. Take a couple of breaths here. And know that this space and this calm that you've made is there for you at any point in time that you need it or want it. You just have to bring yourself to your mat. Bring yourself to give your attention to your breath. And there you are. You're back in that space again. And gently on an inhale, bringing your head back up to center. And namaste. Thank you so much for taking the time for yourself. Nobody else will ever make that time for you. You need to make it for yourself. So well done for doing that today. And it was wonderful to practice with you.